Let's talk about a very cool integration today, how to connect Whop to HighLevel. So why does this matter? Because Whop is one of the most popular, and it's an up and coming payment provider and platform, which is extremely popular for online courses, coaching, etc. So it's very key this year, 2026, to learn how to connect it to HighLevel. So whenever you get a new payment in Whop, those leads can get automatically into your HighLevel CRM and trigger automations. So let's get started. So what we need to do here is we need a Zapier account and we need a HighLevel account. So in our Zapier, here's what we need. The trigger of this app is going to be payments succeeded. So we need to connect our Whop. And if you don't know how to connect the Whop, then what you're going to do is you're going to go here. And then you can put, for example, if you don't want the following, you can click on connect a new account. And then it's going to prompt you to connect the account. So there's going to be a chart coming and you need to put your Whop API key. So your Whop API key is going to be inside your Whop account. I'm not going to show it because it's private, but that is how it's done. Okay. So the trigger event, as I said, is payment succeeded. And then you select the account. If you have multiple Whop accounts, you will need to connect many, and then you can change one to the other. Then I strongly recommend doing a test so you can have test data. For example, in this case, we do have payments from today, and all this data comes from the payment of today. You can see a bunch of data here. So we have data to work with. The second step is the formatter, text formatter by Zapier. How do you add that? There is a step called text by formatter, okay? Formatter by Zapier. In the formatter by Zapier, one of the actions is text. So that's exactly how I did it. And then now that we are in the text, we're gonna transform, we're gonna split text. So what are we going to split? So this value, the billing address name, which is the name of the person, I really like splitting this into two because this is the original piece of information and we can segment index all as separate fields. So if the person has, three, first, middle, last, then it's going to split. And then in the next step, we can put the first and the last name. So the third step is going to be add or update contact in lead connector. So HighLevel in Zapier, just for reference, is called lead connector. If you search for HighLevel, it doesn't exist in Zapier. So it's called lead connector. In lead connector, what you need to do, there is a setup here. So the action event is going to be add or update contact. Okay, add or update contact, and then you need to connect the account. So how do you connect the account? If you don't have an account connected, you would click on change, and then what's going to happen is you're going to connect your account, click on connect account, and then it's going to prompt you. So this is going to appear. It's going to ask you to log into the CRM to continue. So you would click on login, and then you have to log in, and if you have a HighLevel agency with multiple sub accounts, you will need to select your account. I don't want to log in just to waste time because I have too many other sub accounts, but you get the idea. So then now that we are here in add or update contact, we're going to configure this and we need to map everything. So when we are mapping here in the first name, actually now there's a billing first name, but it used to be just a billing name. So you can map the billing first name and the last name, or you can map from the text in formatter. You can map the output item 1 and the output item 2, because that would tell you the first and the last name of the client. So then you map the full name. Everything else you're going to map needs to be from Whop because there is no other significant step. So the phone number, the user email, etc. You can always search for email, you can always search for phone, and then that is how you get the information, address, etc. So we're going to map everything, and I strongly recommend that you create a tag for either Whop or payment. So you know those leads came from Whop. You want to know that those leads came from Whop. The best way to know is by adding a tag specifically to Whop. You can also put in source Whop. I strongly recommend that. Now in the notes, you can put, anything you want, like product, payment, final amount, etc. For example, in this case, in the Whop product description, we want to put the product description so we know, okay, what does it include? There isn't really any other fields we want to map here unless you can find something from Whop that you want to map. But Whop doesn't give you a lot of information about the product. It really doesn't. So yeah, I don't see, for example, a lot of pieces of information here are absolutely empty. So I don't see a point in filling out everything, to be honest. Anyways, the next step is in HighLevel in the sub account where you're mapping this. First of all, we need to test this. So how do you test this? Very, very easy. You just click on retest step. In this case, we have data from a customer. So everything that we model is right here. Then we can click on retest step or test first. And then what's going to happen? So when you test, you're going to see in HighLevel, this is going to be the contact ID. I'm not going to talk about contact IDs in this video. That's a topic for a separate video. But this is how you know where to find your test. So you can see here all the information, the data in, but in data out, you find where that contact was created through the contact ID. So finally, I strongly recommend, if there is any type of payment, in this case, we have a channel in Slack for this client where all these people who purchase, we put the name, email, etc. Finally, there is a workflow. So in this sub account, we have a workflow whenever there is a tag added Whop, because as I said before, every single time a new lead gets created, it's going to be added with the tag Whop. All these things happen. We add this tag, meta conversion API, there is a webhook for another thing. And then depending on the description, so whether if the description includes statewide, countywide, and nationwide, we have 3 different types of onboarding email and sequences. Okay, now I don't want to confuse you. This last step is absolutely particular and relevant just to this client. I just want to show you an example of what things can be done once the Whop lead enters HighLevel. Now, if you want more of this, so if this is helpful and you want to learn this type of stuff that we do, because we do calls like this, showing how to build automations custom for your business, automations unique to your needs. So I do have a community in HighLevel, not school actually, HighLevel, which is called the Automation School, where we do every single week. We do 2 calls a week, where we cover topics like this. You can bring your own project, your own idea, your own comment. I want to work on this. I have a question. And we're going to build, if you show up to the call and there is few people and there are no objections, we can build it with you. We have built funnels, for example. We built for one of our community members called Pedro. We built the webinar funnel. We built, what else? We built a Spanish voice AI. And then every single week, we have a bunch of support calls. 2 calls a week, Tuesday, Thursday. Typically, we do a topic call and a support call. And I'm looking in 2026 to add a 3rd call. On top of that, every single course that I've delivered on systems to scale, basics of HighLevel, workflows A to C, webinars with AI, SMS and email wizardry, how to fix any issue, training replay, troubleshooting, onboarding A to C, everything is here in the Learning Vault. So there's a couple of ways to get access to this. And the best way, actually the best part of this, you can ask unlimited Q&A. So if anyone has any question, they can post in the community and I'm always going to respond here. You can also send me a message and I'm going to respond. So there's a couple of ways to join this community. Okay, you can pay $97 a month, which is in the description below, or you can sign up or upgrade to HighLevel under my affiliate link in the unlimited plan or above. Why the unlimited plan or above? Because in the unlimited plan or above, I can give you access to all these resources and I can sustain the community. So if this helps, just check the description below.